Alright, a good evening or a good midnight, if you want to be accurate. Um, we've got a candidates match tonight for the Crazy House World Championship. It's going to be blitzbullet versus Sexy, and I know it. And the live match is now up here. I will be streaming with a 3-minute delay. That's to respect the integrity of the match, to ensure there's no information being leaked to players. Good luck to both blitzbullet and Sexy, and I know it. This is the first match I'm going to be covering of blitzbullet. Blitzbullet was a candidate from last year. He actually he scored. He went 5-all against myself, and probably should have won 6-4. Due to some unfortunate circumstances where he had auto queen last year. So blitzbullet is a tough competitor. Hasn't played as many matches as the others so far, but definitely a strong player. Now Sexy, and I know it, we have seen a couple games already. What I'm going to do is just also refer to the cross table. We've got a e4, e5 standard now. Blitzbullet's gone for an early f7 sack. Not as common when we have bishop c5. The idea is you sacrifice a piece temporarily, hit the knight, and threaten to win another pawn. So often here I'll see black concede the knight back because it's a decent way to develop, and potentially defend with something like bishop at d4, but also attack f2. Yeah, you could try something like knight d4, but yeah, I think it's just fine returning the knight, and you get an even position. Bishop at d4 is also good because it stops white from playing d4 himself. Here blitzbullet looks like he's just declined the knight, but this rook has defended on e5. So yeah, I feel like black's holding on to the piece for the pawn here. White's got very clean development, clean pieces, but no huge attack potential. I mean, there's a knight in hand to put on g5, but you don't have pieces to follow with king g8. So I just favour black a little bit here. But yeah, I mean, I should just refer to the scores quickly. I can see that based on the cross table, we've got Sexy, and I know it, has played 6 matches. He has won 2 of them. He won against, it looks like Master Tan, he won 6-4, and Clearcast he won 7-3. He has lost to 12-Teen 8-2, GSVC 6-4. He lost to Juan at 6-4, and he lost to Little Plotkin 7-3. So that's Sexy, and I know it's run, so it's his 7th match here against blitzbullet. So knight at e6, interesting. Sexy, and I know it, giving up the rook because that's probably the least useful for penetrating here. Bishops can often come in on diagonals, knights can come in by hopping over pieces, like we know they do, but rooks actually struggle a little bit more in Crazy House to break through central masses of pawns and minor pieces. So let's just refer to blitzbullet's records so far. He has played 3 matches but lost each of them. Also, like Sexy, and I know it, he has lost to 12-Teen 9-1, and he has lost to GSVC 6-4. But blitzbullet lost to Clearcast 7-3, whereas Sexy, and I know it, won 7-3. So on paper, based on the candidates' results so far, it's probably Sexy, and I know it looks like a slight favourite. But look, the results on paper don't really matter too much. On the day, all of these players are dangerous. So blitzbullet now looking to make some trades. Sexy, and I know it, already retreated the king to g8. Black holding a material advantage here, so if we count it up, it's got 2 pieces for a rook, but more importantly, a lot of the pieces still in hand. So here you could grab another pawn. I wonder if Sexy and I Know It is thinking that might be too greedy. Okay, he's staking a claim here. This is good too. Alright, bishop at f3. Can't see much wrong with rinsing and repeating with another bishop on g4. I don't think white can afford to take with the pawn because of knight at h3. Okay, so the queen's on f3, knight at g5, bishop at g4. I mean, Sexy and I Know It's just a little bit low on time, that's all. Knight at e5 solid. It's a place where it's defended, but the knight also defends a useful square and attacks a useful square. Okay, the check's played. Wow, he gave up a pawn first before moving the king across. Queen f5, so blitzbullet looking to make it happen. Now that's interesting because he's left the bishop on f7, or rather, I'm talking about Sexy and I Know It has put white's bishop on f7 first. There's no option to take this knight and play knight at f7 relative to if black had just retreated straight away. There may be troubles later. So that's the reasoning behind his little pawn sack on f7. It allows him to hit the queen like so. And it's hard for blitzbullet here. You don't really have a good square for the queen. If you go to g5 or f4, you're either going to run into knight at e2, forking the queen and the king, or knight at f3, forking here, where this is covered by the second knight. So the queen appears to be trapped, and I don't think white's going to get good compensation for it. So Sexy and I Know It opening up quite solid here. Now, a reminder, we have a Candidates Appreciation Fund. If you like what you're watching, you can support the candidates directly. There is a button at the bottom of screen if you're watching on Twitch where you can donate to the candidates. It's to acknowledge all the effort they've put in for preparation and play to bring us some really good matches. So the target is $1,111. There are 11 candidates, so that would be $101 per candidate, which is an incentive for them to complete all of their matches. And very good news, we've got Fumitox coming up with his first match, I believe, in about 6 hours time. So it was originally scheduled for an earlier time, but they rescheduled. Now Sexy and I Know It took down that game pretty convincingly. So yeah, please donate. The candidates really appreciate it. I've had a lot of positive feedback. Apologies myself that I've not been streaming as regularly. Those who've watched my channel will know my dad hasn't been so well this year, and he's been in and out of hospital a few times the last few weeks. And we're lucky to still have him around because we nearly lost him a few times. So I'm trying to get back on the horse, try to get back on commentary. Dad's out of hospital. So let's get back to the games. Now we've got this knight on f6 just got declined several times, and both players look like, black's saying, I want you to take it, and then white's saying, yeah, not really. Yeah, this order of moves I've not seen before, but I quite like black here. I like, black's got to play a6, bring the knight to d7. Sometimes it comes to c6, but it's useful on d7 as well. F3 could sometimes be a move, but you may even considering just leaving it. You could play knight g5, you'd be alright. Knight b c3 is good too. Hercules, welcome to the chat. Okay, so he has left it, f3, bishop e7. So the idea is if takes, and then the bishop would have to go to c4. Black has a pawn in hand. Nothing immediate. It's just you know, there's light squares. Maybe pawn at h3 is a possibility. Maybe black even just castles and progresses slowly with c5 later. Try to make some trades. Yeah, if you're white here, you might be considering taking it. I mean, if you got some rook f5 idea, or the alternative is just knight b c3, and say you're claiming to take e4 for free. Blitzbullet quickly trading off there. Bishop at g6 expected, because knight at h5 is how white wants to come in here. So knight f4, looking to support h5. Knight at h5 still viable. Castling doesn't look so much fun because your king gets on g7. Maybe rook g8. Okay, we got a game here, so very evenly balanced, and I think both players have strategic chances here. Okay, ZH also in the house. A few viewers just strolling in. Welcome to everyone. Good to see you again. Okay, bishop at a3. So not using the old one, and I think that's wise. It's good to cover the knight with that piece. Also good to cover e3. So knight at f5, just balancing the dark squares. Yeah, if you were black, I thought you might like castling. And I also didn't mind f takes e4 instead of knight c3 before. There were a few different ways this could have gone. But yeah, how do you make progress as either player here? This is quite blocked up. I think rook b1 is natural. I mean, that's just a simple hit. Rook b8, but it's always good to have a pawn available to capture. Okay, knight's been captured, so we could see a few trades. So in terms of style, I think you know, blitzbullet will probably be good on the clock. Generally, I think he's generally quite a quick player, and if it comes to a pressure position, he's going to use that in his favor. Also, I think, you know, blitzbullet's really good at breaking the center. Holy moly, huge donation from Matt Gardner. He's donated $111 on his own. Let's read this comment. Matt Gardner says, finally found you live. He says, thanks for all of the commentary and thanks candidates for the games. That's phenomenal. Now, Matt Gardner, I've got to say a bit more about Matt Gardner and the chess pieces that I received at the mail in a little bit. Let's just cover this action first, respect the match that's being played. So we've had a lot of trade-offs here. You know, Sexy and I know it. He's trying to make a break in here. He hasn't given up much back at home. He's still good on the clock. Material's just about balanced. So he's turning the screws here. I like this. Bishop at e3. So he's finding room. Rook at e1. Can he put the queen on b1 maybe? At the worst he'll grab a pawn, but he's looking here as well. Yeah, he's kind of gonna run out of steam if he's not careful. Knight takes d5, knight takes f5. They're possibilities. So while blitzbullet ponders on how he's going to try to make something here, I want to say another huge thank you to Matt Gardner, not just for his donation in money there we've just seen for $111, but Matt Gardner's brother-in-law has produced some really nice crazy house pieces. These are made of wood, and I was sent a full set in the mail, and they're just gorgeous pieces. I've got to give another plug for them later. But Matt Gardner, thanks so much. Thanks for your kind notes as well. I'm referring to how you've been inspired to play Crazy House. It really makes doing all of this worthwhile. Okay, so Sexy I Know It. He kind of made a bit of ground here. He's taken on f5, he's pushed on e6, and yeah, we've got some problems here for blitzbullet now. I mean, pawn at h3 would continue to be aggressive, but pawn at f7 is an issue. That forces the king to capture, and the queen falls with check. Pawn at e6 to follow. Yeah, it doesn't look good. I think Sexy and I Know It's just gone for the safe option without really seeing or considering pawn at f7. Blitzbullet has seen it now, and the time trouble's on. So yeah, objectively, I think White was better there after pawn at f7. White's probably still better, but Blitzbullet's gonna test Sexy and I Know It under time pressure. Can he pull it together? Knight at d8. No, he's going to be in trouble here. Nope. This is how Blitzbullet's going to get him. Now, you see, it's a lot easier sitting on the sidelines. Like King g3, Rook at g2, Bishop at g5, Bishop at g6 is mating. Blitzbullet will finish this one up. Pawn at e2, the threat of e1 queen is going to be huge. Clearly Sexy and I Know It had it, but there's a huge element of pressure here. Rook at g2, Bishop at e3 even. Yeah, he's sealing off the king here. Pawn at e3, e1 queen, and Sexy and I Know It lost that game. Not because he was worse, because Blitzbullet put on some practical pressure. And pawn at f7, winning the queen with check. I think Sexy and I Know It had to take that sort of chance, and he missed that shot, and Blitzbullet ran away with it. So we've now got one each. Well done to Blitzbullet. Okay. Now Blitzbullet opting for a g3 h3 push here. It's gone to knight e5. So if captures knight here, is it bishop f4, knight at g6? Like I'd just be a little bit concerned about this e5 pawn, how we're going to cover that. Unless Blitzbullet's not even thinking of covering it and is thinking of something happening on d5. Whatever it is, Sexy and I Know It's going to the think tank, and I think that plays to Blitzbullet's favor here. He's playing practically. Sexy and I Know It might be booked up a little bit better. By that I mean Sexy and I Know It may have covered a bit more study of the opening than Blitzbullet, I would expect. Yeah, Bishop f4 is... If knight h5, you can just back off. I think you're just playing for queen c1 or queen d2 and some pressure here. That's a good plan. c5. Okay. Logical play from Blitzbullet. He's just trying to put pressure on dark squares. And look at the clocks. Blitzbullet, he's got more than 3 minutes here. Sexy and I Know It 1:30. So Blitzbullet's really, he's trying to put the pressure on the clock. All right. So there's not much going on here just yet. I think Sexy and I know it's going to try to hang tough here. He's just defending. You could have also gone to h5 and threaten this pawn. There's two choices there, which one you want to threaten. But okay, knight at d7. So threatening the bishop, threatening the rook. I don't know if losing the rook is so bad. I'd be more concerned about losing this bishop. Even just bishop d6 would make sense. No, he's going to sack. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about this one. If the positions get open and tactical and dynamic, that's going to favor blitzbullet. If it's more strategic, more to do with opening theory, then it's going to favor Sexy and I know it. What is pawn at f4? So he's made a gap here, but that helps white defend g5. So I like white here. And look, blitzbullet's just ignoring what's going on at home. He's saying, I got it covered by the queen. I'm just going to keep pushing on dark squares. And I'm kind of thinking, instead of bishop takes f2, a move like bishop d6 could have been a lot more sensible. Black kind of opened up the trades, and look, blitzbullet hasn't. It's like he's just used only as much time as increment. He's looking for a kill shot here, I think. But he could just take this. There's no need to get fancy. So you could play pawn at h7. You can't take with the bishop because the knight here. Oh, he's got rook at h. No, he's just going to take g3. That's pretty sensible. I thought he might go rook at h8, pawn at g7. This will be crushing as well. 2-1 to blitzbullet. All just practical play there. He just got to build up on the dark squares as white. So yeah, second game I thought Sexy and I know it should have taken it, but blitzbullet beat him with a practical game. Okay, normally d5 is what we see here, and I think Sexy and I know it will be well prepared for that. d6 is the move, so you just kind of slow down e5. You might push a slow e5 yourself, and I think bishop e5 might be what Sexy and I know it is planning. I see this done a number of times. There it is. So yeah, I mean, you kind of go, why go to d3 then to b5? I mean, white's gone to d3 to b5, black's kind of pushed e6, e5, and you know, this becomes a very useful pin when the center is challenged between d4 and e5. So yeah, I think if blitzbullet can come out of the opening, keep up on time, and generate some dynamic play, then he's going to be in favorable conditions. If it's Sexy and I know it, that's in familiar territory from the beginning, I think it's going to be a lot harder for blitzbullet. So that's my take on the styles of the players, which is not going to be immediately evident from just watching a few of their games here. Now pawn at d7, I don't like this move. Knight f5 looks like fun for white. Yeah, it's just counterintuitive to block in your bishop this way. Maybe bishop d7, which could have had its own problems with pawn at d5, but just from a principled point of view, this pawn is on d7 is blocked by d6, this bishop is blocked by that, this rook is blocked by that. If white puts a piece on d5, black's essentially a couple pieces down. Not only that, that was a pawn in hand, and you probably want to place it somewhere on the board more useful than d7. So I'm really not a fan of this move. And by the same token, I was about to say this, I wouldn't be a fan of white capturing c6 because you just remove black's problem. It would make sense, and maybe it does here, if you've got a tactical advantage, and I think pawn at e7 is good enough, where if queen d7 was played, bishop takes f6 is pretty devastating with maybe knight at g7 coming. So white's picked up a queen for a pawn. That probably justifies bishop takes c6 enough. Yeah, I think that's fine. I'm kind of the view I would have sat on that advantage longer, but it's fine for white to cash in on it as well. So bishop at e6. Now Sexy, and I know it, just going straight for the jugular. He's saying, I've got a queen in hand, I'm just going to come in on your light squares. I don't care if it costs me a bishop. Okay, rook f8. Now, you could even just castle here. You've definitely got the edge as white. c3 is on with check. You could argue that helps white because it puts another diagonal piece in white's hand to attack with. But knight at h5 here, you can't take that because of queen at e7. Knight takes g7 looks very dangerous here. I wonder if blitzbullet's planning a runner, but he'd have to run a g8. He can't take the knight because the pawn at h6. It's going to be deadly. He just took it. So knight takes, pawn at f7. Very hard for black to come back from this. Yeah, I think blitzbullet kind of just walked into an opening where he convinced himself to play pawn at d7, but I think that's giving away a bit too much to white positionally. Okay, knight at f5, so covering e7. Pawn at f7, you pick up the rook, but it's not entirely decisive yet. I mean, maybe Sexy, and I know it's looking for more, but I think his greatest risk here would be just getting into time trouble. Oh, this looks very dangerous. Knight at d5 is not playable because he's pinned at the moment. I mean, you could just castle as white. You don't have to blow up your opponent. Okay, he's gone this way first. Bishop at d5 is mating, isn't it? Tell me that's mating. So bishop at d5 takes, queen takes the pawn, queen at e6. I'm pretty sure bishop at d5 was mate there. If you ran up, queen at e4 was mate. So black's getting away if he can get here, like ooh. Come on, the time is ticking. This is a real let-off from Sexy, and I know it here. Bishop at d5 back in this position. Clearly mating. Okay, he's picked off some material. He's still in time trouble. He's going to drop this knight on c8. This isn't going anywhere. So, you know, blitzbullet's just got that practical edge here at the moment. No, he's taking his time. What's going on here? Oh, right, pawn at e7. He was considering if he should take this, I suppose. Whoa, gosh, he left it low. 0.7. These guys just playing with seconds left. Come on, critical moves here. Queen f8. Is there a mate? Is there a mate? Takes. No, he can take with the pawn to escape. No, it didn't matter anyway. The knight was covering here. So blitzbullet, he plays on. This is exciting. Pawn at g3, great move. You know, opening at pawn f2. I think it should have been taken. Pawn at f2, king h2. But wow. Yeah, games 2 and 4 where Sexy I Know It has had white. I think he should have won both games 2 and 4 there. Yeah, a few let-offs there. So blitzbullet to 3-1. Let's praise blitzbullet's practical approach. He's yet to score in the candidates, so he's looking good here. 3-1. This is quite theoretical, this one. c3, I often play myself quite a bit. Okay, knight at f5. I feel like that's a little bit early, but I should be alright as well. Bishop at g4 maybe. Looks like it makes sense. I think Sexy's just got to watch his clock. That's all. And if he can just get to a winning position and actually have enough time, he'll just do better there. Bishop at g4. Okay, knight e3. So out of this opening, I feel white can normally put a bit more pressure on than this. Knight at f5 looked a little bit early, because sometimes you want your opponent to commit a move with bishop g4, for example, before you play knight at f5. Then at least if they come back to capture, they wasted a tempo. This is just putting the knight in the way of where it can be taken. So blitzbullet lost a pawn there. I was actually surprised he didn't recapture the knight with knight takes e3, because f5 is dropping some material. So pawn at f6. I mean, black can just slowly progress with the material advantage. Maybe knight takes e5 though wins the pawn back. So maybe it's pawn at g5 even. So knight takes, so that way you're just retaining material. Because if you block with pawn at f6, white regains that pawn. I'd prefer to play pawn at g5. Now, yeah, you could argue though that white gets some momentum here. So knight at e7, that's not a bad move. I think the reason behind knight at e7 is to defend f5 from this. If knight takes, you could play knight takes, rook takes, knight takes. You actually give up the queen, but hold on to a bunch of minor pieces. Maybe that's what he was thinking. But here, I'm just concerned about Sexy I Know It's time again, and he probably knows that he's had the upper hand in the last few games. It's something that could be playing on his mind. So okay, f5 got traded. So now blitzbullet looking for some pressure. Does he have enough? I was even looking at like pawn at h5 here. If bishop takes, knight takes e5. Just looked really interesting. If you lose the queen, then maybe knight takes f7 is actually quite threatening. and then if the knight recaptured instead, you could take h5. So I just thought pawn at h5 instead of pawn at d5 looked quite interesting. Pawn at d5, I mean, puts pressure on this, which is one of the defenders of e7. Truth Doctor in the house. Welcome, Fishy Vishy. Good to see you. Fishy Vishy, our very determined organizer, has put up his own money as prize money for this event, and a lot of his own time to work through all the issues, good and bad. So I take my hat off to Fishy Vishy for all he's done and contributed this year towards the Crazy House World Championship. I got a few comments here. I mean, okay, he says really disappointing from Sexy. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what's up. If you don't always know what kind of conditions players are playing in, what's on their mind, or what's going on in life. Here I still, I think I'm leaning towards black. It's even on material. This diagonal, what are you going to do about it? It's going to step out of the way. I mean, what do you do here? Alright, you're gonna go for this. Knight at c6. So he's getting the queen, but Sexy and I know are quickly making a decision to give up 2 pieces. You just keep pushing. Knight at f4. Alright, we could see the rook fall here. Pawn at e7. Nice. Nice. Yeah, this is blitzbullet's kind of position, and again with the time trouble, I'm worried about Sexy. I mean, if you move the rook hits, you can take this, you lose the rook. Bishop at f8, rook at h8, like, blitzbullet's gonna find some kind of angle here, I think. You can even just promote a queen, that's really strong. Because I know you've got the queen under attack here, but white's pretty much going to be threatening mate. So he's put the rook on instead of promoting. It's a bit curious. I mean, you'd think if you've got a pawn on b7, bring that down. Keep 2 rooks in hand. Okay, so is he going to address the queen on e2? Even if he does, there's no direct mate threats. Even if gf, like, I wonder if you would even consider sacking the queen. Okay, he's going to promote here. And after this, I think you can just take on e8. There's no mate threat as long as black has no knight in hand. Yeah, how do you defend that? That just gets, rook at h8 is coming as well. Oh, he's gone on f7, and we run out of time again. Yeah, I thought Sexy and I know it was a pawn up in the opening, and blitzbullet's just putting the pressure on him, getting a dynamic position, and the time trouble is getting him. So we've got blitzbullet 4-1. He's looking like he's going to take this down if Sexy and I know it doesn't stop the bleeding. This, I feel, though, is something theoretical. This setup somehow, I feel like Sexy and I know it knows something here, or feels that this should be good for white. I can't see like a knockout blow here. There could be some kind of knight takes f7, queen h5. Like you can't play pawn at g6 because you take. Maybe you can, but or it could just be taking on h7 and aiming for pawn at g6. If takes on h7, maybe queen takes g5. No, he's going for the knight takes f7 move. Is it pawn at f5? Queen h5 check. Okay, so king e7. Bishop g5. This is very strong for white. Yeah, I'll be surprised if Sexy I know it doesn't win this game. Even if he's shaken up by the last 4 losses, I expect him to be good enough to win with such a lead. I mean, even just takes and like knight at f7, queen e8 could be a bit of an issue. You do have to work out how you're going to cash in. But like white's just in a superior position here without having sacrificed material. This just has to be good for white. Knight at g6. Yeah, he's got the rook. So he's not got a kill shot on black yet, but I mean, you know, you'd take white's king over black's king any day. So bishop at c6, lining up this, also getting ready to defend. So I think that's a good move. You know, you're covering e8 as well. If the king ever goes to c8, rook at e8 won't be a problem for you. So bishop at c6, good move. Lining up knight f4. On a good day, if black can get white off defending e2, you'll have knight e2 and bishop takes g2 mate. So pawn at f3. Just covering this. If knight f4, you've got queen f7 check. Or even rook at f7 check and then take the knight. Just basically, if you're white, I think a reasonable strategy here is to play quickly and keep your king safer than the opponent. Another donation, Chronic Sunshine, donated $5. Thank you so much. For those of you who've just joined, or if you've not seen this before, I mean, there is a Candidates Appreciation Fund. All the funds go directly to the players when they complete all of their 10 matches. There's 11 candidates. We had a huge donation earlier from Matt Gardner, $111. Fantastic donation. Thank you so much, Matt. Chronic Sunshine also joining there. We've now got $491 out of the $1,111 target, 44%, with 17 days to go. I mean, I've set that as the target probably maybe 1.5 months ago, but I just haven't been streaming as much as I should have, so we're probably a little bit further behind the pace than we'd like to be, but still phenomenal. $491 from the community. Let's go back to the game. So queen f7, he avoided losing the queen. Rook at d8. Wow, that's a nice move. So this is deadly. This is sexy. I know it. Coming back. Knight takes f7. He can put a queen on d8, and he's going to promote another queen to deliver checkmate. Or you could just take on f8. That's how it's done. Sexy. I know it. You know. Stopping the bleeding there, that's a good sign. Good sign for him. Now blitzbullet going with g3, h3. Look how quick he's playing. He's just going, look, I need every bit of time, every bit of pressure. Now knight b4, so he spotted a weakness on c2. Knight d3, the only way to preserve that. You could take on c2 and play pawn at c4 and just kind of rinse and repeat a little bit. But in these positions, I think, you know, white's happy if he can get a pawn on h6 and not have anything interrupted here, because the general strategy of this opening is that this is just so hard to penetrate with a forced mate counter-attack, if that makes sense. You know, sometimes in Crazy House, once you have enough pieces, there's generally some way to force mate. And this fortress makes it actually very difficult to have such a force mate appear. So as black, you can't let white get too much momentum with generating weaknesses on the king side, or else you're just up against a hard match all day. So bishop f4 played makes sense. You might want to cover c2 via alternative means. Knight h5, that makes sense. Hitting this guy. You can drop him back to e3. Yeah, I feel like takes. Bishop d6. Having a look at this. Knight at e5 would be played. Come on, sexy. You just gotta move. Just gotta move. Okay, takes with the e pawn, opening this up. Now I expected taking with the c pawn, because normally you leave the e2 pawn here to just, you know, make f3 never available for black to penetrate. But white's got plenty at the moment. I just thought, you know, you can make the c pawn useful strategically. You can bring this to the file, but it's fine. It also covers e4 nicely. How do you make progress here as black? That's the question. Okay, so the d4 push, pawn at d6, countering that. This could be taken. I feel like this is one of those in favor of blitzbullet though. I'm not sure if c5 was warranted there. Maybe it was a slower strategic grind. But I didn't really have a great candidate move either. I was thinking something like knight at g5 and encouraging a swap. Okay, Sexy's gonna go straight for this. I think this one should be recaptured. Okay. Ah, interesting. So not queen takes d6, just bishop at c5. So it's basically trying to put a bishop there instead. Yeah, I just don't think black's got enough to go sacking a queen or sacking material. Oh dear, excuse me. Bishop at e7, that's a good move. White's just looking to gain a bit of material here. I was considering taking this one. Alright, you're picking off the queen. Yeah, nice and aggressive. Pawn at h2 is nothing to be worried about because the bishop and rook are covering f2. Right, he's opened up the light squares. Does he have enough? He's probably seeing if he can get to mate. Bishop at e6? Okay, this is probably better. No matter what, if you block on d5, there'll be a bishop available for e6. Queen at e7, mate in one. Okay, blitzbullet. He secured half a point at least. He's got 3 chances to convert to a full point. He's run away with this one, and yeah, a little bit uncharacteristic of Sexy, and I know it. Here's Sexy, and I know it. Early sack on F7. So blitzbullet just offering the piece back. Pawn G5 is a good move. If takes, knight takes G5, and you know, pawn at F7 is really uncomfortable with the rook on E8. So in fact, you've just avoided it altogether. Now I don't think white can just sit still in castle, because maybe something like knight H7 or knight G4 and black's preserving some material. So I like that he's captured here first. And, you know, H5 isn't really a move black may want to play, because it's usually covering from knight G5. So material balanced here. I don't feel black can get away with capturing this pawn. That's sensible. Even pawn at H3 is getting stopped by the likes of knight at G5, which fork here. Yeah, interesting position here. I think white's just a little more solid. There's a few light square weaknesses that black has. Pawn at G4. Okay, E takes F6. We've got if you take F3, what's white's play here? Taking the bishop? No, okay, he hasn't even decided. I just feel like this is going to give white the initiative, because knight takes F6 here, bishop G5, possibly. Yeah, bishop G5 looks good. Because if white just gets the momentum going with knight at F6 first, this pawn threatening the knight is just not going to be much. Black has no knockout blow like after it takes here, because knight at H3 and knight at E2, neither of them are going to force mate, and then queen at G7 is on the threat. I was thinking if black should take the knight back here, then face this. I don't know. Based on the opening, I think kind of white just had an edge. Yeah, queen takes F3 for sure. So that's actually a really important thing. If G takes F3, knight at H3 looks a little bit dangerous. I mean, it might be okay, but this should be a solid win for white. Knight at H6. Oh, this will mate too. Yeah, Sexy's converted a good one there. Okay, 5-3 blitzbullet. Still got 2 games. I mean, Sexy and I know it's fighting for a 5-all tie. So you've seen this now a third time, and both players getting faster. I just felt Sexy got stuck in the mud before. H6 is reasonable. Yeah, knight h5 he played, but then took on d3. So sometimes in these situations as black, you're feeling like, well, at least I'm not down some theoretical line where I'm fighting for my life. There's a chance to play this slowly, and it's just frustrating to find a way to come up with a plan or a pawn break or something that's going to help you work against this. Okay, he's taking a knight straight away this time. Alright, so okay, he's noting it's blitzbullet has another match in an hour. He does indeed. Now, there's another match that's going to take place between Juanet and blitzbullet. It's starting at 2 AM Sydney time. That's 1 hour from now. But yeah, I might need to skip that one. I think I actually need to get some sleep. I'm already feeling I'm getting a bit more tired. I will for sure though catch the match starting at 6 AM Sydney time, which is Fumitox versus Opelwezen. That'll be Fumitox's debut match. For those of you following, you'll know that Fumitox was insisting that he wasn't playing for quite some time, and thankfully we've resolved some differences, and he will now be participating again. Really happy to see that. Where we've got a full 11 candidates that are playing. So yeah, I'll need to catch a little bit of sleep at least, because when this match lines up, it'll be past 1 AM, and then I'll need to catch some sleep before Fumitox vs Opelwezen starts at 6 AM. Alright, bishop at e3. Wow. Now, queen takes g5. Come on. You've got to risk a little bit of skin here. No, he's going bishop takes g5. Maybe that's an accurate assessment. I thought bishop at e3 was really interesting. I mean, it looks like black back here. It's like, what does black do? And he's played knight at g5 and bishop at e3 to pressure g3. I thought maybe queen takes g5, but it's probably not good. Hard to say. It's definitely the more interesting of the two. Queen takes g5. If takes, could you have taken here? Try to go for something like bishop takes h3. Hercules donates $9 and he brings it to around 500. Thank you, Hercules. Yeah, I really appreciate all the support this stream, guys. I really got to apologize that the stream slowed down from my end, but I hope you guys understand. It hasn't been easy for me with my dad being in his situation. But we're back here. Queen h4. Can he make something? All donations, again, just a reminder, all go straight to the candidates. We're looking for $1,111 to have $101 per candidate for their completion. And a number of players are very close to completing all their matches. I think both 12 Teen and GSVC have completed 9. And with Fumitox coming back into the fold, they just got those matches left. What about bishop takes h3? No, maybe this is better. Looking at g3, like Sexy, I know it. He's He's playing with some fire this game. Playing with some fire in the belly. He's holding off on bishop takes h3. I just don't know if blitzbullet missed at h3 was under attack. Could you have not played like knight at g1? Maybe pawn at g4 is pretty ugly as well. Okay, I can see the point in knight at h2. He's trying to cover g4. So blitzbullet defending tenaciously here. He's backed off the bishop to e1 to still cover g3 from a knight check. But Sexy, I know it, putting on some pressure here. Pawn at g4. Yeah, that was the idea of this. Now maybe you take it. Come on, man. Don't calculate this. Just play by feel. Try to find some attack. There we go. Bishop takes h2. I think blitzbullet is right there. Bishop at g3. Did he mean to put a knight on? I don't know. Maybe black just doesn't have enough to attack with here. So, okay, wow, knight takes d5. Where's that going? He should take that. Pawn at g6. And knight at e7 is coming. Oh, I think blitzbullet could wrap it up here. I'd consider bishop at f5 possibly here. Yes, if takes. Is there knight e5 takes, pawn at h5? He's a pawn short. No, he has enough. Pawn at h5. You could play knight e5 first if you want to block off here. Maybe that's critical actually. No, probably not, because his knight covers d7 as well. That will be it. That will be it. Knight at h7, nice. Queen at d7 is going to finish here. Queen at g4 instead. blitzbullet wins his first candidates match. Congratulations, blitzbullet. He's up 6-3. He's taken this one down. You guys, someone's saying, John, are you streaming Opera to Fumi? Michael is thinking of putting the arena back for 75 minutes to avoid the clash. Yeah, you can if you like. Yes, I will definitely be streaming Opera Wesson vs Fumi, but I'm gonna have to catch some sleep before that one, so I won't be catching Juanet versus blitzbullet as much as I would love to. That's an awesome lineup. Yep, there's nothing stopping the fans going and have a look. Juanet versus blitzbullet will be up again in an hour. Just glad to see blitzbullet get on the board here. So he's registered his first win in the candidates, and the caliber of the players is just phenomenal. Let's respect this game, and then I'll probably call it a night there. I gotta check out this opening again. So it's Sicilian and pawn at c7 just got replaced. e5. So white should have an edge in development here. Yeah, blitzbullet's playing this one a bit loose, but he can afford to. Pretty sure Sexy will take this one. Alright guys, so there's talk in the channel of a delay on the Elite Crazy House Arena. I'll just pull up the calendar so you guys can see what I'm talking about. This is my time, Australian, but you can change the time zone at the bottom here. I've got it on Sydney. I'll post this into the chat. Postponement would mean because currently Fumitox vs Opawez and Elite Crazy House Arena are both scheduled to start in just under 5 hours. There's talk in the channel of pushing the Elite Crazy House Arena. I mean, people say back, forward, it confuses it. Postponed to 7:15 a.m. So making it 75 minutes later. Generally, because a CWC match for the candidates takes over an hour. An hour and 15 minutes is about right. So yeah, I don't know. Is the question now if I'm going to stream if it's postponed? I'll be streaming Oppa versus Fumi. What would it? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it depends when Bella wakes up. I'll play. I'll play as well. I mean, guys, I mean, the timing shouldn't just revolve around me. That's not really fair. But if you guys want to know, now Bishop D3, I like this move. Bishop H3, yeah, look at that. That's gorgeous. See, you want to control both light squares there. I just want to point out the finesse in that mate. If you play pawn at G4, you're a pawn short. You're probably fine with Queen D3 anyway, but I just liked it. It was so neat and tidy. Bishop D3, because you can't play Bishop H3 at the moment. Bishop H3 is nicer because it allows the Queen to cover H5 as well. So after Bishop D3, pawn at E4, you can play Bishop H3, King G6, pawn at H5 is made, pawn at F5 is made. You can't block here because Queen G4. So 6-4 blitzbullet, and that's unfortunate because I think games 2 and 4 were in the pocket of Sexy, and I know it. Unfortunate for him, but fortunate for blitzbullet, and blitzbullet has won his first match. So yes, the question's now clearer to me. Yes, I will play the Elite Arena. I don't know if I'll be able to play the full 2 hours because I just have family obligations, but I will be. Yep, I'm here for Oppa versus Fumi, and I'm happy to play some Crazy House. I've just been swamped with work. I do need to just have some time for myself. Also, things with my dad. We've been trying to move house, sell our old place. There's just been a lot going on in life, so it'd be good to just get back to some Crazy House. So I'll just respond in chat as well because there's no delay. All right. Well, thank you so much for the support. We've raked up a total of, mostly due to Matt Gardner donating $111, but this stream, $125 donated to the candidates. That's phenomenal, guys. Matt Gardner, before I head off, I just want to show the viewers some of these pieces again. Apologies, Matt. I haven't got the link even up on Twitch yet. I mean, that's pretty poor of me. It shouldn't take that long, but I do need to do that to support your brother-in-law's website. But yeah, take a look at these. TM Cromwell is where you can get these. I'm going to put up some more information on my Twitch channel on how you can get your own set. Look at this. I'm gonna bring the piece really close. Look at the detail. It's not just a nice functional set. It's really nice craftsmanship artwork. And there's even been thought put into it. Look, there's pieces you can promote to. So I didn't notice this last time I made a plug, but this is a queen. It doesn't have anything behind it. But that's because this is a queen you would use if a pawn got to the end, so you'd be able to signify it wasn't a real queen, and you don't have to try to keep track of it. They've thought about this. We've got a few queens there, but I believe there are even some horses. So, you know, there's not just craftsmanship, there's thought. Everything has been put into this. There's a black queen. I should just find the horses. And then, there we go. So they've even thought, because, you know, the horse is so often promoted in Crazy House, but if you're making one out of a pawn, it goes blank. So, alright, I'll leave it at that for now so I can get some sleep. I will see you all in precisely 4 hours and 50 minutes. That will be Fumitox versus Opelwezen. It'll be his first match. Fumitox, to be cheeky, it's to say both Opelwezen, they're the only two players who have not seen a loss yet. I mean, Opelwezen's on 7 out of 7, Fumitox is on 0 out of 0. But, you know, anything can happen. I mean, new player, I think it should be a really interesting match. I'm really looking forward to it. I will see you then. Gonna get some sleep now. Hope you enjoyed this stream. Thanks for all the support. See you in 4 hours 50 minutes. Okay? Bye for now.